What's up, everyone? My name is Alan, founder and consultant of Fornow Marketing, and welcome to Braze for Technical Marketers. In this video, let's talk about how to use a Braze catalog. We created a Braze catalog in our last video, and we're going to use that catalog in our messages. Let's get started. So as a reminder, this is the catalog that we created together using the CSV import, and we also use the UI to add this additional field. And then this catalog is called F&M Retail Catalog. We are opening our own retail store. Just kidding. And then this is the email that we want to use use the catalog information to populate this module specifically. So let's get right into it. The first thing that we need to do is we need to actually call and reference the catalog that we created here, the F&M Retail Catalog, inside our email. And I personally like to put it at the very top so that it's very easily recognizable, but please let me know if there are reasons to not do that, reasons against best practices against doing that. What I usually do is I create a paragraph block, and I usually like to take out the paddings to make sure that it does not add any unwanted padding to our emails. And then I'm going to go ahead and erase this text. Let's actually make it white so that it's very clear to our eyes. Is that the right number of? Yep, okay. And then I always recommend to click the blue plus button for any sort of Braze related custom liquid insert. So I click personalization, go to default attributes, drop down and look for catalog items. And then what will happen is all your catalog that you created will show up here. We only have one so far, F&M Retail Catalog. We choose that. And there's a few more drop downs that come up. So first of all, you can choose catalog items, or you can use a selection. Selection is a different subtopic of catalogs, which we will talk about shortly. But for now, we were just going to use catalog items, meaning we're just going to use what's in here. So we have 2 items right now. We're just going to use these 2 items. And in my future video, we will add some additional rows so that we can try different things and show you some other ways we can flexibly use catalogs. But going back, so we're going to choose catalog items, and then catalog items up to 3. So this isn't as relevant for us because we only have 2 items, but there is actually a limit to how many rows of the catalog you can use at once, and that limit is 3. For this video, we will reference both of them, but for a lot of use cases we've seen, just referencing 1 row is more than enough, and there's usually a lot of columns to support it. But one thing to note is that you can choose up to 3 rows at a time for catalogs. And information to display. So I can choose a few right now, and it looks like my UI is limited. So I'm just going to choose the product name for now, but we can also go over what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the liquid, and I put it at the top. So, and actually, there's actually multiple parts to this. So I'm going to break it down for us. First of all, this line right here is the most important line. This top line right here is what's actually calling the catalog and kind of inserting all the data behind the scenes for this email. The next 2 variables that came with the copy right here is because we chose the product name here. So it's actually spitting out the product name of the first row and then the product name of the second row. And you may have thought that I got my numbers mixed up, but this is using array syntax, meaning item 0 is going to be the first row, which corresponds to the ID ABC123. And item 1 is referring to the second row, which corresponds to the row ABC456. And as a reminder, our 2 rows are ABC123, ABC456, but it's not necessarily in the order that's built in the catalog, but more the order that it's called in our reference. So first of all, let's actually just take a look at what we're seeing here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the eyeball. Give it a second. And there it is. Colorful t-shirts, adventure pants. And then just for reference, ID 123 is colorful t-shirts, and then ID 456 is adventure pants. So you see those 2 come in order. So once again, To get started with the liquid writing, I always start on this personalization tab. I choose catalogs, and then I grab what I need. But once we get to just this part, a lot of times I am just writing the liquid directly in here. So as a reminder, the first item that we're referencing, all the information for this item gets stored in what's called items bracket 0. And then for the second item, all the columns that about AB456 get stored in items bracket 1. What's really happening behind the scenes is when we call this Braze catalog, when this part gets called, Braze is creating an array variable in the background called items. So there is a variable called items, and this is not real liquid. I'm just kind of writing pseudocode to explain what's happening. And it's an array, meaning it's a list of items. That's usually what this square bracket syntax means. And in this array, there's going to be a bunch of data. It actually includes every single data that's represented in the row. So there's image link, there's category, product name. All of those live inside the array behind the scenes. And if I want the product name, we can access that product name column using what's called dot notation. So this syntax right here is saying find the first item that we referenced in our catalog liquid, which is right here. So in our case, it's ID ABC123. That's items bracket 0. And give me the column called product name and insert it into the email. And the column called product name should have colorful t-shirts. And that is why when we click the eyeball and try to look at what's being rendered, we see colorful t-shirts followed by the product name of the second row, which is adventure pants. So if I simply go ahead and swap these two and put 456 before 123, what's going to happen is now item 0 is referring to the row ABC456, and item 1 is referring to ABC123. So once again, the order of the catalog within the catalog does not matter. It's the order in which we're calling the items. Let's take a look. And we should see adventure pants first and then colorful t-shirts. Adventure pants, colorful t-shirts. Okay, so let's actually switch back just to avoid any confusion. And if I were to finish writing what this pseudocode in the background looks like, items is an array of objects. So it's going to have a list of array objects. So it's going to look something like this. And the objects are going to include all our column data. So it's going to have ID, and our ID is going to be ABC123. It's going to have image underscore link, and that link is going to be this. And I'm simply writing what's behind the scenes. None of this is real liquid, and none of this is actually gonna show up anywhere in our emails, and I'm having trouble writing this array syntax. But just to help you visualize what's happening. So this first item is all about ID ABC123, and then the exact, and by the way, I'm not done here. There's all the other columns are going to show up. I just didn't want to write all of them, but category, product name, starting price, link, and even sale starting date will be there as well. Followed by another object, comma, the same exact thing, except this time it'll be ID 456, and then ID 456 is image link and all the other columns. So you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one because we don't actually want it. And I'm going to delete the product names out of, actually, I won't delete it. I will cut it so that I could paste it elsewhere. But this does need to stay on top, and this does need to be somewhere in the email so we can reference the data later on. And where I wanted to really reference it was this section right here. So product name, instead of having a hard-coded product name, we are going to reference it using items 0.product name. And this one will be items 1.product name. First product, second product, first row, second row. And then some of the other columns that we had that we'll need to use was category. So I'm going to replace that with category. This one should be items 1 category. You can also do images as well. So image with liquid. If you enable this toggle you are able to input liquid variables in there, even though the color doesn't change, so it might not quite look like it. And let's actually make sure to not have any spaces before the name. After the name, it should be okay. Same thing, items 1, and then starting, and our catalog has the $sign baked in, so we don't need to actually type in another $sign. So I'm just gonna write starting, and then this is called starting price. And notice how I keep going back to the catalog to copy and paste my column titles. What we always try to avoid doing is manually typing out column names, because you just never know if I'm gonna misspell starting price, or did I do starting dash price, or did I do starting capital P? That's bad practice. But my point is, if you copy and paste, you never have to worry about typos. So we always recommend copy and paste. And also, that's what this UI tool is for. If you know exactly what to grab, you can actually just grab all the items that you're interested in. The only thing is, I just don't like that it spits it all out in the top where you insert it. So that's why I end up just rewriting it and pasting it where I need it. But it might be pretty helpful just to write it all out at once. So this is items 1. And then lastly, the shop now open web. This is going to be the last one that we need to change, which I actually ended up using the same link as the image link. So that'll go there. Then that'll go there. And then for the moment of truth, if we now go ahead and click preview, these two items, these two pictures in this module should be completely dynamic according to what's in our catalog. Let's take a look. And first of all, the liquid insert at the very top should not take up any space. So notice how, we do have some liquid right here, but that's not showing up, which is great. Let's scroll down, and our brand, okay, with just a little bit of image inconsistency, but you can see that the data is dynamically populated. And we just populated and created this email for using our catalog without using any hard-coded data, just like that. And now what this allows us to do is anytime we want to change the products that we show here, it's very simple. Simply reference different ID up here at the top, and then it'll just simply populate the modules with the columns that are from that specific ID's row in the catalog. So this just gives us a lot more flexibility as technical marketers to update and modify and personalize our emails. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.